You're watching Experience Comic Culture and Sales, streaming live daily to Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, and Twitter.
Hey everybody, it's time for In Stores this week, and we're going to be covering some great books coming in, hidden shelves this week, including an all-new Firefly, Barbarella, Dave Stevens' Rocketeer Artisan Edition, Godzilla versus the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, Shadow Service, some stuff from Zenoscope, Something is Killing the Children. I mean, we got a lot of great books to talk about, 11 in total. We're going to cover them in just a minute, so stick around here on The Experience. Stay tuned. Hello, the Internet. Yep, that's my best, Kyle. Welcome to In Stores this week. I'm Dan. That's Jay. We are Kyle-less again for another week, but we're hearing rumors that he's coming back next week. Believe that his parole begins and he will be out, so he will be back to join us. We won't talk about what he did, but he really should have left that llama alone. That's all I got to say. Llama comes to mind because I was just having a conversation with Lisa about the Johnny Depp Amber Heard, and I don't want to get into that. But at one point, they asked Johnny Depp if he would go back to playing Captain Jack Sparrow. And he said he wouldn't do it for $300 million and a million llamas. And we started thinking, well, what would he do with the million llamas? If they did show up and go, we've got the money and the llamas. And he owns his own private island. So then I had to start doing the math. For the llama, you need about 40 square feet to take care of a llama. His island is 45 acres, which is equal to, so basically you could get about 500,000 llamas on the island. He's still, maybe about 400,000, a little more comfortably, assuming there's a building or two on his island. So you get about 400,000. So you still got about 600,000 llamas you got to do something with. And then, well, you can eat llamas. You could probably sell them to other llama ranchers. You might be able to buy other property, because I'm assuming Johnny Depp has other property, But then does Johnny Depp want to be a llama rancher?
You put a lot of thought into this.
It's my life, man. It just happens. I go down deep into the rabbit holes.
Ooh,
yeah. So, a bit of news before we get started. This is probably the least breaking news of breaking news. Warner Brothers at CinemaCon just now announced that they will be doing a sequel to The Batman. And if you were questioning whether that would happen, it made $750 million in 45 days and then went over to HBO Max and blew the frick up. Yeah. And there are as many videos and stuff talking about it now as before. So, yeah, this was a big, big movie. It's either loved or hated. I'm in the loved category.
Same here.
And they have confirmed that Matt Reeves will be back to direct and write, and the cast will be back, including Robert Pattinson. So they're not going to suddenly switch Batman. It's not going to be after Flash. Suddenly we got Ben Affleck or Michael Keaton as Batman, which would make a very weird movie. Zoe Kravitz and Michael Keaton. Yeah. So that's scheduled for June of 2024. So nice. Go ahead and block out a good 3-4 hour chunk of time, because when you do a 3-hour movie and you have about 20 to 30 minutes of trailers, it's an event. The fact it made $750 million at a 3-hour runtime is pretty amazing.
That's not a Marvel movie.
Yeah. You look at Venom, which was a 90-minute movie, and it made a lot of money. That's because they cranked them out. That opening weekend, before anybody realized that it wasn't a great movie, they got everybody in there. Yeah. They didn't do that with Morbius, though. They probably should have,
Okay. I'm in the camp. The first Venom movie, I liked it. I
didn't hate it.
But then with having Andy Serkis, Let There Be Carnage, I thought that movie was going to be something spectacular, and that one just let me down.
They never spent any time actually building the relationship between Screech or Scream or whatever her name is and Cassidy. They should have built that up, given us more time with them, and just let that grow and do a little less of the buddy cop, comedy. So, but Venom 3 is in the works. They announced that yesterday. So there will be a Venom 3 because it made enough money. Haven't heard anything about Morbius 2. I know it surprises everybody. But they are going to do El Muerta, who, and as I said earlier on my other show, if you're not familiar with who El Muerta is, that means that you're probably 99.98% of the country. But I will talk about El Muerta tomorrow. I'll see what I can dig up on him. I know a little bit about him. I know he's basically a Mexican wrestler with superpowers that is passed down through the mask and title.
Huh.
He was created by Peter David and showed up in Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man #6. So he's not even that old of a character, but he's getting his own series. But it's pretty much because they've got the rapper Bad Bunny, rapper, actor, professional wrestler Bad Bunny, and who I know more about El Muerta than I know about Bad Bunny. He is on board as the star. So Bad Bunny comes to the Marvel universe. Well, Sony's universe of Marvel characters. Yeah. So, yeah, and Jeff is right. 2024 is literally around the corner because I'm pretty sure it was just 2019. I do not know what the hell just happened.
Just blowing by.
It is. I have. I'm going to make something new tomorrow night. I've been cooking the last couple of years, trying a lot of new recipes, and I'm going to make cream of mushroom soup. And I've been wanting to make this for a while. And for my birthday, my ex-wife got me an immersion blender so I could do this. Oh. I just put it right in the pot. Well, I realized she got it for my birthday last year. My birthday is Friday. That means I've had this immersion blender sitting on the floor in my office for a year.
Wow.
Thinking I'm going to use it. So I'm finally going to use it. So, okay, Kenneth, how you doing? Good to have you here. All right, let's get into the actual books we're going to talk about today. And Jay here is going to throw them up on the screen, and hopefully we won't throw up remembering them.
Yeah. So I usually try to not do these in any particular order, but this is just one of those. Again, I just want to get this out of the way.
Barbarella, Dracula Unholy #5. This is the 6-part miniseries from Dynamite, written by, is it Christopher Priest, I believe?
Yes.
Yeah. And the story itself is interesting. I don't know if it really feels like it needs to be a Vampirella story, and which I thought something Jay and I agree upon. I know that. Not really excited about the art. Donnie Hadiwidjaja is the artist on this. And some panels look really cool. Others panels may look a little rushed. But overall, this has been an interesting story of basically Vampirella trying to take care of someone who has the vampiric virus. This whole thing, basically the vampire becomes a virus, which not only has been done before, but I did it before in 30 Days of Night. Well, I mean, Steve Niles did it. It became part of the 30 Days of Night thing. So that part of it isn't really all that new, but it is bringing in a new version of Dracula. I'm not loving the series. I want to. I love Christopher Priest's writing, but this one just isn't clicking for me. So how about you, Jay?
It's pretty much the same. I kind of felt like you didn't even need Vampirella for this story. She feels kind of shoehorned in there just to have, the name, I guess just the brand to help it. This is one of those, you see this cover that I have on the screen, folks? Don't expect the art to look anything like this. This is a beautiful cover. I didn't dig the art either, and I'm not the biggest art person. But, this could have just been a love story about Dracula and his boyfriend and left Vampirella out of it. sometimes that actually took me out of the story when she showed up. You know, this was just I don't know, just like kind of a mess of a story to me. There was some cool panels, but overall, like I could have skipped this one and read something else. To be really honest with you, I know that sounds a little harsh, but I mean, it just was not for me.
Yeah. Hey, while you're here, before we switch to the next book, please hit the like, subscribe button, stuff like that. That helps us out a lot. We finally hit our 1,000 subscribers. That opens up a lot of stuff for us, a lot of functions we can use. But please keep doing that. Keep hitting the like, the thumbs up. That helps us a lot in the viewership. BB says the story is a carryover from last Vampirella series. That yes, it is a carryover. The Matthias is someone that Vampirella saved in the previous series, so I mentioned that earlier to Jay when we were talking. It does carry over, so I understand that Christopher Priest is continuing his story. But yeah, I think this is one of those. It may hit for other people. It's just not hidden for us, and it may in part be the artwork. I don't know.
Could be.
So, all right, what else we got?
Let's see. Let's go ahead and talk about all new Firefly number 3.
This is another one that the art, I don't love the art. And that's not to say it's bad art. It's not. But the characters don't necessarily look and feel like Firefly characters. When you're doing a licensed property, I tend to like to at least get a feel that when I see someone on the page, if it's based off of someone we know, then it should tell me, oh, that's Mal. That's Jane. And it doesn't quite work for me. That said, I'm really liking the story, and the art itself is good. But it's just they're not really trying to draw the characters like the likenesses. So when you put that aside, it's a very interesting place for Firefly because Mal left for a while.
Kaylee,
thank you. I was going to say Katie. Kaylee is the new captain. Wash is, of course, gone. There's a new person on the ship, the guy in the hat and poncho. There's a lot going on, but so it's obvious things have moved forward quite a bit, but they've brought everybody back together. Mal's on the ship, but he's not the captain. Kaylee's still the captain. Jane is still Jane, but they're kind of upping Jane's ineptitude, which is like, okay, if you're doing that for this arc, hopefully the next arc will focus on something else. Then I'll be fine. But it does seem a little much here. But overall, it is a good Firefly story. The storytelling is spot on. The characters are interesting. And again, if you can get past the likeness thing, the art is good. And it's a good story. So how about you, Jay? What do you think?
I'm not the biggest fan of the art. It does to me look weird in places, but there's also that fine line of you have the Rocketeer book that we read not too long ago, where the Betty character looked too much like I guess you got to try to tread that line. You don't want one character to look photorealistic, and the rest of the characters in the book just kind of look like sprites in a video game or something,
Yeah.
But there's another thing that, and I noticed, and I think this is the Buffy is that a Boom book as well?
Yes.
Buffy. I've noticed that between the two books, it feels like they're trying to do the same thing, where it's the person you're used to normally being this person is now being replaced by this person, and which is fine. I think the choice for captain in this one fits a lot more than who they replaced with the Slayer in the Buffy one.
Yeah.
I really like Kaylee as a character. Jane is my favorite. I know they make him seem like a big dummy, but I've always liked Jane, just the way that he is. I love how affectionate he is towards his guns.
Yeah.
Um, you know, that being said, would this be one that I would put in my pull box? Probably not. I do like it, but I don't know. It could just be that I need a few more. Like I'm just not there being hooked into the story just yet.
Yeah. I think the difference here between this and the Buffy series is the Buffy feels like an alternate reality, where this just feels like the natural progression that for some reason in the story Mal left the ship, Kaylee took over, and then now that he's back, he didn't come back and go, give me back my ship. Yeah. He just tries to fit in. So again, this does feel like it's a continuation of the series, where the Buffy one seems like they're just trying something completely different in like an alternate universe. So. All right, let's go ahead and switch up to the next book.
All right, we have, let me see where I put it. Let's do this one because I thought this was gorgeous.
All right, I'll let you lead out on this one.
So this is all black and white. Now I skimmed this one because this one was pretty big for me. For it being, I remember you and Kyle got into the argument of when this character came out, and it was the 80s, right?
Yeah.
Okay. It does so well of making you feel like you are reading a comic from the 30s and 40s, right down to the cheesy dialogue, just the characters, the background. Like it really feels like if you wouldn't have told me, if you would have just handed me this book and said Gullible was on the ceiling, and hey, this book, I got this from, my grandfather in the 30s, I would have believed you. The art is incredible. I love the art in this book. It's just, like I said, just pure black and white. But the characters, the backgrounds, just, I don't know. It was really pretty to look at. I mean, I did read some of it, but it also felt like I soaked up the pages as I was reading because the art just really did it for me in this one. But I'm gonna have to go out and find this. I would love to own this.
Yeah, and the nice thing is that being the Artisan edition, IDW does two versions. Either the Artist edition, the Artisan edition. The Artist edition is the big hardbound one that's 11 by 17 and usually costs $120, $150. The Artisan edition is this size, which is still a good sized book, but the price tag on it is usually closer to $30, $40, depending on the size, number of pages. So this is the Jack Kirby Fantastic Four Artisan edition.
Nice.
When IDW puts these up as to review, I always grab them because I think they're awesome to see the art as it originally was, before it's colored. But with the lettering on it, because in the 80s they used to do that. They put the lettering straight on the page, just like they did previously. But Dave Stevens is a phenomenal artist, and what he did with The Rocketeer is amazing, because you're right. It does read like a 1930s, 1940s comic, and he's basically, this is an homage to those old serials from that era. The Sky Captain, not Sky Captain, Sky King, or the Rocket Man. There were these types of characters, which is what Kyle got confused with. Kyle thought it was actually that character from back then, where this is Dave's own creation. And Dave, of course, was a huge fan of Betty Page, who was big in the 50s. He brought that in, and then he eventually became good friends with Betty Page and helped her later in her life get some of the residuals and stuff she deserved for all the licensed stuff out there of her images. So Dave and Betty became really good friends. Dave was taken from us way too young. He died from leukemia. It was heartbreaking because the guy is such a phenomenal talent. But a lot of the Rocketeer books are hard to get. They come out in trades now and they go quick. To get this in the original black and white format, I think is fantastic. And I also want to get a physical copy of this and keep it, because you're basically getting all of the books that he did. You're getting the pages from Pacific where he started, stuff like that. You're getting the one-shots he did, because this character traveled to a couple different publishers, because he started over here, and then that publisher would go out of business. He'd continue it over here. So I think it was at 3 or 4 different publishers. So, but this is everything Dave did collected is absolutely gorgeous. And again, this is a great gift for comic fans. I mean, if you got somebody who has a birthday coming up, say on Friday, this would be a great gift. So check it out tomorrow when you're in the shops and grab it. Because, I mean, if you haven't read The Rocketeer and if you haven't seen the movie, oh, my God. Wow. The Rocketeer movie is fantastic. It's directed by Joe Johnston, the same guy that did Captain America, the First Avenger. It's Billy Campbell. It's Timothy Dalton, Paul Sorvino, Jennifer Connelly. Just down the line, it's a fantastic movie. Alan Arkin as Peavy. Just, I mean, it's a fantastic movie. Go watch the movie, get the book. Okay, let's go on to the next thing.
Alrighty.
Or do we want to do our commercial? Let's do our commercial real quick and we'll come back.
Alrighty.
We'll be right back, folks.
Right back. Let me find. Here we go.
Did you know that every experience show, including some exclusive content, streams on Twitch? Check it out. Twitch.tv/the_EXP. Or just scan that QR code. Join the party. Head over to our link tree to find all the links for everywhere the experience is all the time. Thanks for tuning into The Experience. Help us out and hit subscribe over on YouTube and click the bell when you do. Need some help? Scan the QR code in the bottom corner.
Hey, we're back with In Stores this week and a little more news from CinemaCon. It turns out the Barbie movie starring Margot Robbie is going to open the same day as Oppenheimer. So you're going to have your choice between a bombshell and a bomb.
Oh, that's tremendous.
We were talking about shops. What comics will be in stores this week? That's Jay. I'm Dan. We're going to keep going. What do we got next, sir?
Let us talk about Barbarella, number 9. No.
Barbarella, number 9.
Number 9.
I'm going to tell you the first thing I thought of when I saw this cover. That's some weird shaped eyes.
Yes.
That's not what I think eyes. That reminded me of something else, and we'll leave it at that. All right. This issue, we're finally kind of moving forward on the overall story arc here. Oh, thank you, Lefty. I didn't realize you and I had the same birthday. Very cool. So, okay. So we're finally moving forward on the Lady story, which is about a lizard creature that turned herself into identical copy of Barbarella. The squad that she's put together, which includes a little fox creature, a dinosaur, 2 rebellious people, and a hologram of Pygar. Yes, Lefty. That's exactly what that cover says. And they finally get to the planet. And, of course, the lady is waiting for them, has a trap set up, has somebody done up to look like Pygar. And if you guys don't know who Pygar is, but if you've seen the original movie Barbarella with Jane Fonda, Pygar was the winged guy. And the hologram character is based off of Pygar. Pygar was originally played by John... Oh, what's his name? John something Law. He's an actor who played Pygar. He played Diabolique in the Diabolique movie, and he played Sinbad in the Seven Voyages of Sinbad that had Tom Baker as the bad guy and Carolyn Monroe as the love interest. I bring that up because I met Carolyn Monroe when I was 11, and that did a lot of interesting things for me. So yeah, this movie's really coming along, or this episode's moving the story along. We're not doing these jumping planet to planet stories anymore, which it had been doing, these one and done type things. We're now in the main story arc. Looks like we're building towards a climax. And Musabeka's art, Madabek Musabeka's art is just getting better and better. I remember the first couple issues of this. John Philip Loth. Thank you, Jeff. That's exactly the name I was looking for. Musabeka's art has been improving. His first couple issues were like, okay, he's good, but he needs a little work. What he's doing now is just gorgeous. This is a book you could definitely pick up for the art, but Sarah Hoyt's story is really good, and it feels a lot like the original Barbarella stories that you got over in Europe. They're a little different than what we normally get. They're a little more love and love and peace, but then that's always been Barbarella. So if you're a longtime fan of Barbarella, but you're not picking up this series, you're missing out, because they really are keeping to the original character, but telling some new and compelling stories. Mr. J.
For me, I think I started on the art in both those books were both really clean to me. This actually didn't really grab me until we got to the end of this book. Once we got to the what do they call her? The Lizard Queen,
It's the lady, isn't it?
The lady, there you go. Once we got there, I was like, okay. This book has intrigued me, but I don't feel like I don't have to go back to read the first, 6 or 7 that I missed.
Yeah.
I feel like from here on, I can just continue reading it. I really do. This story is very interesting, and I'm actually super excited to see where it goes after what happened at the end of this one. So,
cool.
And I know Barbarella is a character. I've never seen the movie, but I know enough about the character to be like, oh, okay. This doesn't feel like they took a character from the 70s and they're going to make it hard and edgy and put it out there. And this does feel pretty true. But good story. I'm excited to keep reading.
By the way, trivia for a good majority of you who if you haven't seen the movie, the villain in the original Barbarella movie is inspired the name of a popular band. The villain's name was Duran Duran.
Oh, wow.
Yes, the band Duran Duran took their name from Barbarella. For those of you out there going, who's Duran Duran? Just leave.
Yeah.
We don't need you here.
Yeah, no.
All right, let's go ahead and move on to the next one.
Let's see what I got here. We have Draculina number 3.
All right, would you like to lead out on this one?
I can try. I like to fake it. That's why you're here. At least we got one comic expert here. This feels kind of like a vampire story mixed with Shazam. Except instead of saying a word, there's a candle.
Yeah.
In fact, in this issue, there's a passing joke that the character Katie, I think that's her name, she makes about light this candle in Shazam. see, this one was definitely a better read than the first issue. I think I've only read issue 1 and this one right here. This one feels, the first one kind of felt very disjointed to me when I read it. Mm-hmm. This one kind of feels a lot more cohesive. Like they kind of found their footing maybe in the second issue. I find with Dynamite, they have a bunch of characters that I don't know and, haven't read a ton about. So I don't know if this is a newer character or if this is a character that they've had along with Vampirella and everybody for a long time, and they're just revamping them, so to speak. Mm-hmm. But this is another one that I think if the story continues going the way that it's going, I might actually start to like this one a little bit more. Like I'm starting to come around to it.
Yeah, BBB is correct. This is Christopher Priest and Michael St. Marie. They're continuing on from the Vampirella series that they did together. Draculina, if I remember my history correctly, Draculina was actually created in the old Vampirella magazine as a sister of Vampirella. She's come up in a few things over the years, but they're really kind of leaning into it now. With Priest writing these, they're kind of expanding it out, creating the Sovereign Six?
Sacred
Six. Doing stuff like that, creating the character of Nyx. So they're really expanding out the Vampirella universe, but I believe Draculina has been around quite a lot of years. Like in the 60s and 70s was created along with Vampirella. So they're bringing her back in. They definitely are leaning into the Shazam references. I've heard it described that way, but there is even the Billy Batson joke in there, or the Captain Martin. Yeah. I did like this issue better than the first two, because the first two seemed very scattered, like you said, where this one really starts to feel like it's putting things together. But I also read the recap on the front page, and I went, really? I don't remember getting any of that out of the first issues. But, okay. Bilal took her in, is posing as an uncle. Bilal being one of the princes of hell. I researched that for a story one time. So the 7 princes of hell, Bilal, and yeah. Yeah, so it's pretty interesting to me, and I almost prefer the Katie part of the story. Yeah. Draculina pops out and it's like, okay, we haven't really gotten to know her or connect with her yet. Yeah. So there's definitely something going on with her too. But the art's good. Michael St. Marie is a really good artist. There's some really interesting covers. There's a cover gallery at the back of the book. And one of the covers, and I have to bring this one up because it's someone I know, Panda Valentine, is the cosplay cover model.
Oh.
But the cosplay cover is something different this time because it's basically a silhouette. And I haven't seen anybody do a silhouette cosplay cover. So all you see is her in shadow and then the light up background behind her with a cross on the wall. I think it's a double cross even. Yeah. Yeah. So they got the upside down double cross, and then this light panels behind her, or these squares of light behind her, and then that. So it could have been a Vampirella shot that they went, well, it could also be Draculina. Let's use it for that. But knowing Panda, she probably has a Draculina costume. So yeah, I thought that's a really interesting cover. And there's a ton of covers for this one. I mean, you've got the basic ones. The one we're looking at now is Raphael Kayanan. There's Gilliam March, Rose Besh, R.F. Prianto. But then outside of that, there's a lot of store exclusive ones. There's a Michael St. Marie FOC bonus cover. There's an Ergun Gundes cover. There's a Marat Michaels one that's done as kind of an homage to a new Rob Liefeld New Mutants cover. I'm flipping through this cover gallery, and there is a ton of covers. So, look out there and find the one you really love, because there's some good ones to choose from.
Yes.
Jamie Tyndall has done one. Bruce Calero. Some pretty interesting covers. So
Yeah, this was a hard cover to pick, honestly. There were so many good ones. That one was a hard one to pick.
yeah. All right, what else we got, sir?
Well, might as well try to keep with the theme. We got another vampire book here. This one is the Grim Fairy, the Quarterly. This is Dracula's
Grim
Daughter.
Universe presents quarterly.
There you go.
Dracula's Daughter.
Let's just stick with the vampire theme.
Yeah. Yeah, I love that Grimm wants to. Zenescope wants to brand all their books, but their titles are getting longer and longer and longer, and the indices inside is like a page and a half now. This is a book written by Pat Shand. It's got a few different artists on it, which makes sense because they've broken up the story into parts. What you've got is. This is I can't remember the character's name, but she's based. It begins with a C.
Charlotte.
Charlotte. Yeah, this is the daughter of Dracula, but she's born, not bitten, and she is looking for her father, who appears to have gone to hell, and she's going into hell to bring him back, and has to go up against the 3 princes of hell. Now, again, from just what I said before, there's 7 Princes of Hell, but Zenescope is saving a little money, just making 3. So, and their 3 Princes of Hell are not the normal 3, so they've got their own thing going there. But we follow her and her companion guy, Shellcoat.
Yeah, Shellcoat, something.
Shellcoat, yeah. As they go through hell, and she has to take on these different characters. It's an interesting read. The art goes from really good to mediocre. It's kind of a mix because they do change art so much. But there's some really nice covers to this. This one is Mike Crome. There's also an Igor Vitorino, which you'd expect from any Zenescope book. I think he does all of them. And then there's this gorgeous Josh Burns cover that I think if I'm grabbing this, I'm going to look for that. But yeah, it's Shellcoat and Dracula's Daughter. It's an interesting character. It's not one that I've seen before in Zenescope. I've never come across her when I was writing for them. So, but Pat Shand is working on this one. It's kind of a spin-off of the Van Helsing series, which Pat is doing all the writing on. She's supposed to be Laselle's sister. So I think she's half Van Helsing, half Dracula.
Oh.
So there's a lot of Laselle. There's other Zenescope characters that sort of pop up. We see them, but they may not actually be there. So it's an interesting read. It's also a big book.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like 75 pages. So that's why it comes out quarterly. They do, it's a one-shot, but it's a big one. So
yeah.
How about you, sir? What did you think of it?
At the very beginning, I was like, man, this is very different art for a Zenescope book. I'm, like I said, not an art snob, so I don't know technical terms or anything like that. But I don't know. The first part of the story felt there wasn't clear lines in it. The characters kind of felt muddy, a little muddy. Now, that said, I really like the monster designs in this. I really dug the story. There's a part where it gets like really heavy on exposition, though, like super heavy. Maybe that's just me because I'm not used to that much in a Zenescope book. But maybe, like you said, since it's kind of it's a new character, maybe that's why they did it. I'm not sure. I did like. There's a part where Charlotte has, and you said something similar to this. She has like a Mortal Kombat Shang Tsung fight with some other, like one of the princes keeps changing into different ladies of the Grim universe.
Yeah.
I really enjoyed that. Like the first thing I thought of was Mortal Kombat. I liked the twist near the end. And I don't think it was the end where she, like the end of the book, but I think it's the story right before the end of the book. It was a little predictable, this twist, but I still liked how they did it. It was kind of you knew it was coming, but it was kind of out of nowhere at the same time.
Yeah.
With how she handled that situation. This was, as far as all the vampire stuff we've read, I think this one was my favorite, and the Draculina one was right below it. I think this, out of the vampire stuff, I think this one was my favorite one.
Makes sense. So I was looking at the list of artists here. There's Alan Otario, who did the first 10 pages, and then pages later on, Renato Rey, Julius Abrera, and Alessandro Uzio. And I was looking at Alan Otario's work, which is the one you said didn't look like it was kind of muddled. Mm-hmm. And I can pretty much tell what it is that Zenescope tends to shoot directly from pencil. So some artists work that way and will do heavy lines and put in line weight and stuff on their own, where other artists are used to working with inkers.
Oh.
So there's stuff they don't do as line depth and stuff. And I think that's what it is that when they did the digital inking on Alan, and all digital inking is they throw it into Photoshop, they bring up the contrast, and they solidify the black lines. If you don't put in the line weight in the pencils at that point, then they're not going to be picked up digitally because there's no one going along doing it.
Makes sense.
So I think that's what the difference is.
Okay. All right. Let me see. We are super close to our next break, so why don't we go ahead and take that real fast so we can
get
the rest of the books. We'll
Sounds
be back
good
in a second.
All right. Stay tuned.
This is The Experience.
Good afternoon, everybody. Hey there. Hi there. Hello there. You're as welcome as can be.
Hi, I'm Nancy McCann. Welcome to Friday Night Live on The Experience.
Welcome, everybody. It's Fat Jack's Comic Crypt. Brendan, Al, Jason, hanging out.
There I am. Welcome back to Kicking It with Henry, folks. I am your host, Henry Kumpa. It's great to be here with you guys.
So we are going to talk about books that are in stores this week.
Hi, everybody, and welcome to Mishmash.
Hello, and welcome to the Black Comics Universe, presented by Peep Game Comics.
And you gotta love it that the first people in the minute to skim it are creators.
Up, everybody! Welcome to another Wednesday Warriors. My name is Joey Galvez, and this is my pal Ambrosia.
Hey, everybody! Welcome to Space Cadets.
Hey!
What's up?
Welcome, everyone, for another episode of I Must Ask You a Question.
Hi, everybody! Welcome to Nerd News Now.
Hey, this is Rex. Welcome to Comic Collectibles.
Hey, hello, all you happy people. Welcome to the Dan Wickline Show.
Hi, everybody, and welcome. Is the crazy show that we do on Thursdays called What's in the Box? What's in the Box?
Comic culture and sales.
Hey, everybody, welcome back to In Stores This Week. I'm Dan. That's Jay. No, he's over there.
I'm over here.
And we are talking about the books that are coming in the stores tomorrow. We are going to be entering our speed round here as we've got 5 books left in just 15 minutes. That's about 3 minutes a book. Now, before we get started, though, please hit the like, subscribe buttons, all those things, the thumbs up. Tell your friends, all of that stuff. We'd appreciate it very much. Jay, hit us with a book.
Godzilla, Mighty Morphin Power Rangers.
Okay. I'm not a huge Godzilla fan. I'm not a big Mighty Morphin Power Rangers fan. I am a big Freddie Williams II fan. Love the art in this book. Love reading this book. It is just fun. It looks cool. And it's just, I think is it Cullen Bunn who's writing it? Yes. It's light enough. It hits all the notes you want. Absolutely loving this series. It is a lot of fun. Jay?
About the same. Love the art. To me, Cullen Bunn can do no wrong. I love him as a writer. I get a nostalgic feeling reading this. Some of the dialogue feels like it's pulled straight from an episode of Power Rangers. Love the book, and I'm going to keep reading it.
Yep. So definitely a good one to pick up this week if you like either of those franchises or just want to look at some good art. And it's issue number 2, so number 1 should still be out at your shops. Take a look for it.
All righty. Next one we got up is, if I can find, there it is. Something is Killing the Children, number 22.
Now, I'm jumping in on this one from last week, or last issue, 21. I think Jay's the same. All I've read prior to this is House of Slaughter.
Mm-hmm.
And so this is a new take for me, and I'm enjoying it. This has got a really interesting opening. There's a house that has red masks. That's a big surprise to me. Didn't know that was coming. But I get why people are big on this series. James Tinian's writing is really suspenseful, really moody. Werther Deledra, his art is fun. It's good. I don't know where this is going, but I am enjoying it. So, and I love the idea that we have killers running around carrying stuffed animals.
Yeah, yeah. All I got to say is that opening, holy hell.
Yeah.
That was great. This issue picks up right where we left off the issue beforehand, and I'm with Dan in the same boat. My house has read it. My house collects it. I personally haven't read the first 20-something issues, and to be honest with you, if I didn't, I'd be okay. Jumping on from right here is perfect for me. The ending of this issue is a little bit anticlimactic, but it's not going to deter me from continuing on with this story. This is great. I really, really enjoyed it.
One thing, though, in it, there's a comment about the killer girl having big eyes, and I thought it was just art style. But the fact that they call out the fact she has big eyes, now I want to know, why does she have big eyes?
Yeah, and it's usually only the one.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was really good read. Okay, we are down
here to explain that to us.
Yeah. We're down to our last 3 here, so let's go ahead and do Harbinger number 7.
Harbinger number 7. Again, I have become a big stan for Valiant at this point. They're just doing some great stuff. Harbinger continues to be a fantastic book. Colin Kelly and Jack Lansing are writing it. I don't remember his first name. I think it's Robbie Rodriguez is doing the art. It's not art I would normally be drawn to, but it's really good and it works for this series. We're picking up from last issue where Peter Stanchik gets shot in the head by this creepy Psyot. His other half, or the other part of him, Renegade, is out causing problems. Faith is there from their previous, the book Faith and, Zephyr. She goes out after the killer while his buddies Cece and Ago try to talk Pete into saving himself. And not a lot happens. I mean, Faith confronts the killer. Renegade starts doing more of his stuff. But it's just an interesting moment for Pete Stanchik as a character. and for his friends. And again, I'm just buying on this book like crazy. This, again, I never really read Harbinger that much, where I was a fan of the other Valiant series. This one is getting me to be a Harbinger fan. So,
nice.
Mr. J.
This book has been so good. This is the Valiant that I love. Awesome storytelling. And this really has me questioning if they're going to kill Peter off. It had me guessing till the very end, and they still didn't let you know what exactly is going on. This also has Faith just kicking ass. Faith is such a great character. She to me is the epitome of somebody who loves being a superhero. She is a beacon of hope. She is one of my favorite characters in the Harbinger set side of the Valiant universe. I would tell you, if you haven't been reading this, don't be like me and jump on this series right now. Go back. I can't wait for this to be traded already. Like I'm ready to go ahead. I know that the first trade's already out, I think. I'm already ready for this to be traded up. I'm ready to read this all the way through.
All right, 1 second. I just wanted to double check if I could find. Yeah, it's Robbie Rodriguez who's doing the art, and I'm absolutely loving it. Rico Renzi is doing the colors. We should always throw out the other artist. And Hassan Otsmane Ilau is doing the letters. All right, last two books.
Let's go ahead and do this one first.
We have Demons number 2.
Yeah.
This is an odd one because I've read the later issues because Comixology put them out. Now Dark Horse is putting out the physical copies, and I didn't read the earlier issues. So I know some of the stuff that's coming, but now I'm getting to read it from the beginning, and love Snyder's writing on this. Love Capullo's art. Oh my God, Capullo's art is absolutely gorgeous on this. It's an interesting. The story itself is kind of heaven versus hell, good versus evil. It's a pretty straightforward story, but the way they got it going, the mythology they're building, it's pretty fascinating, and they even explain things like, well, why is everybody wearing tight spandex suits? Well, because they're lined with silver and it helps enhance the halo that you're using. Yeah. Oh, okay. Makes sense. Those kind of things. So I really am loving this series so far. Again, it's from Comixology, so you could get ahead if you buy it digitally, but we always like buying stuff from stores. Yeah. So Dark Horse has put out the second issue. And by the way, if you don't have a local comic shop, you need to find one. ComicShopLocator.com. Go there, put in your zip code. They'll tell you where your nearest stores are. If you're traveling and want to hit the local shops, check out ComicShopLocator.com. Jay, what are your thoughts on We Have Demons?
I still love Gus. I loved him at the end of that first issue. I love him in this issue. His tirade at the beginning is gold to me. I laughed so hard reading that. We're 2 issues in, and I don't want to spoil it because I forgot it was on Comixology. I don't want to spoil myself. I want this to be one of those. I have to wait for the book to come out.
Yeah.
I can't say too much about this book because I don't want to spoil anything. It is that good, folks. I've been interested in this since the first time I saw the trailer for it play. I'm so happy I get to read this. This is an awesome book. Jump on this. So good. So good.
It has a little bit like New Mutants X-Men vibe, but it's completely its own thing, and Snyder and Capullo are killing it.
Yeah. All right. And on to our last book.
Yes. The one that breaks the norm.
Oh, my goodness.
Normally, we don't do books that are that far into a series. This is issue number 11, but it's Cavan Scott, who is a great writer. And this was one of the only things offered to us from Vault this week. And it said it was a jumping on point. It absolutely is.
Yes.
I think both of us had the same reaction. This is fantastic.
Yes.
There is there's one cliche thing, and that basically you have this woman who finds out she's a witch, gets brought into the British Secret Service to deal with the supernatural, and they actually named it MI666. And that right there, I went, really? Really? But other than that, this is a straight up James Bond meets Doctor Strange type thing. You have demons, but you have a spy thriller with the supernatural. And it's wonderful. It really is. And the fact that we're jumping in on issue number 11, but doesn't feel like there's a bunch of stuff we don't know. Now, knowing that there's 10 issues we could go back and read is awesome. But you could literally pick up on this book and move forward, and I think you're going to have everything you need.
Yeah.
So it's it covers the setup, it gets you into the characters all pretty well. And again, it's James Bond, Doctor Strange. How about you, Jay? What do you think?
The very first thing I noticed, backward spells. Zatanna. Immediately. I don't know if they came up with Zatanna doing that first or if that's something that they pulled from somebody else. I don't know, but that first thing was like Zatanna. And I'm thinking, hey, this is our main character. Nope, this is not our main character that we first meet. We don't meet them till a couple panels later. Mm-hmm. Oh, man, this was just, again, like you said, 11 issues in, and this was my favorite thing we read this week. It inched out, we have demons. Yeah, I'm really, I'm sold on this so hard that now I want to go back and get the first 10 issues just based off this one issue. This book was so good.
Yep. All right, folks. So we are recommending Shadow Service number 11 from Vault, We Are Demons number 2 from Dark Horse, The Harbinger number 7 from Valiant, Godzilla versus the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers number 2 from IDW, and I'll throw in Barbarella number 9 from Dynamite. Those are our top picks of the 11 we reviewed, though you can't lose when you go to the comic shop. There's a lot of good Marvel, DC, Image comics coming out this week, so get to your stores. Again, comicshoplocator.com if you don't know where your store is. Otherwise, get to your shops, spend some money, bring them the love, and get yourself some great stuff to read this weekend. For the experience, I'm Dan.
I'm Jay.
That's Jay over there.
I'm over here.
We'll be back next week once Kyle gets paroled, and he'll be back as well. Again, we're sorry for what he did with the llama. That's all I got to say. I won't get into details, but everybody, have a great night. Well, I'll see you tomorrow. We'll talk about El Muerta and Fantastic Beasts. Good night, everybody.
Good night.
Join the party. Head over to our Linktree to find all the links for everywhere the experience is all the time.